kondo shochu tonga jikdana deje loma jarwa kons. Tingdo dambe jeje janbe je zemba nduba yunandar jeje narma ayara damba laye kedon lodon ono yun kedon. Maya kena don rwa ganja drake jatsampa tamche ken. Chundan jarwa shun rwa namkar don yamba semchen tamche namchen naname pa yonto pa zopa sonji jo kompon rumbo jengo pa shanya. Yongchen chudu tuxe de senpa xe, kongxi senpa xe we chuje rumba no. First, I want to say is welcome, and it is wonderful to be together in the Dharma City. And also, we are talking about our path and the path of the Buddha and the path of the Buddha, it is we call the Dharma. And when we follow the Dharma, and Dharma itself, it is the free from any disturbing emotions. And also, Dharma, it is the antidote for the disturbing emotions. And when we follow the Dharma or take the path of the Dharma, and then it's at the beginning, we say it's like kind of the congratulation, or we can to say the good luck, or we can to say the virtue. And in the middle also it is says, you can to say congratulations or the good luck and the virtues. In the end of also you can to say congratulations and good luck and the virtues. Why it is to say like so? Because when we practice Dharma, there's a kind of the big changing process, our life, and of course we maybe it is not really necessarily to change, but when we look at our situations, and to look at our reality in the relative perspective. And we need to something to change because we are not yet achieved perfect happiness. Of course, we obtained the human existence as we studied in this book, what we are studying, The Word of My Perfect Teacher, and the guide to the preliminary for the hard essence of the vast expanse from the great perfections. And this first chapter, we learned about the human existence. And once when we obtain the human existence, quite really happy, and also normally, or generally speaking, the purpose of the human existence, should to be happy. But when we more coming close to look at the human existence, also there are a lot of problems. Of course, we obtain the human existence, but this is a very fragile and also very sensitivity, and also it is not solid. It is not kind of firm, and it is like kind of very uncertain kind of thing. And also when we look at our life every day, daily, and there is it is like each moment is changing, and also it's like according to our minds, we have such a wish to receive all the times pleasure, happiness, comfortable, and like this sort of. But of course, it is difficult what we wanted, and according to the mind, that is like almost impossible. And also, when we look at the current our mind, it's quite darkness, ignorant, and foggy in the mind, and difficult to remember what we done in the past. Of course, in the past, or the last, or the previous lifetimes, there is no need to mention. We forgot it. But even in this life, and what we done on the past is quite difficult to remember, and that is kind of the ignorant. And the futures, maybe 1 in the second, 1 hours in the future, we don't know what is going on. And presently, it's some in the case clearly, but other case is not really clear. And then we are kind of sitting in the darkness, fogginess, and ignorantness, I don't know. And now is really we want to a little bit to clarify, to have more clearly mind in order to recognize self and the life and the situations. And all these problems comes from the ignorant. Ignorant comes from the disturbing emotions. And therefore we are relying or to taking the medicine, antidote, or it's some medicine for our disturbing emotions. And when we are learning the dharmas, at the beginning, dharma goes direct antidote for our disturbing emotions. Therefore, we say at the beginning, it is the virtue. And we say, good luck. Now you are like taking your treatment, medication for this mentally sick. And also in the middle, and this medicine, the medication of the Dharma goes very well. You take the really correctly, and then it's disturbing emotions is like never to grow up, to stop, and to like kind of the decrease more. And therefore we say in the middle is a virtue, and we can do congratulations. And we can just say, yes, very good, your treatment, medication of the Dharma is fantastic. You look getting better. You look every day, it's like become healthy, clearly, to understand more, and yourself to others. And the end, we can to say is like, according to the Dharma, we can eradicate our disturbing emotions. And we are become the controller, mastery of our own disturbing emotions. And then we become the superior sentient beings. And we, in the Buddhist perspective, we call the Buddha, enlightened one, and the mastery, your own mind. And then it's like we say, congratulations, it's a virtue, it's lucky, wow. Now you can to say, you could your all the life and lifetime sickness, which is the disturbing emotions. Now you are healthy, you are completely recovered from this sickness. Therefore, we say at the end, virtue, congratulations. And then therefore we are follow the step of the Buddha, or taking the path of the Dharma. And also this year, the chapter and the impermanent. Generally in this book, the words of my perfect teacher itself has principle 3 chapters: the ordinary preliminary practice and extraordinary preliminary practice, and then is the transferent, is like a power part. And this is the 3 principal chapters. And then this ordinary preliminary practice itself has 6 chapters that you know so very well. And first is the explanation or the meditation on the human existence. Second is the meditation on the impermanent. Third one is the causalities. Fourth is the defects of maybe samsara. And then is the how to follow the spiritual friend and the beneficial of the liberation. And therefore there's the 6 chapters. And then is this year we are in the 2nd chapter about the impermanent. And also when we study these things, and first these 4 are the reminder, 4 reminders: human existence, impermanent, the inevitable causalities or defects of the samsara. These are 4. This is like the entrance door of the Dharma. And also it's the beginners. It is the foundation of the Dharma. And why it is? Because when we study these 4 reminders, and these 4 reminders to telling to us our reality, the reality of the relative realities. And generally speaking, all the phenomena of the samsara nirvana, you can make the kind of the resume into the 2 truths, relative truth and absolute truth. But absolute truth, it is like kind of indirect. It is like a big object, but it's very difficult. Of course, if we can to analyze through the relative truth, we can to realize the absolute truth. But that is like a very much hidden, indirect. Then it's like the basic, the source of the absolute truth, and the really is the how do you say, the part of the absolute truth is the relative truth. And absolute is also come from the relative truth. In this perspective, first time we need to analyze the relative truth. And when we be in the relative truth, and then how it is relative realities. Now in the current our situations, we are in the relative truth. This life, this body, this verb, this mind in the present. What we are seeing, what we are hearing, what we are touching, what we are talking. Every day what we are drinking, eating, all this day and night, there's 2 kind of the situations, day situation, night situation. This is the situation of the relative. This is the relative truth. And beside this, there's no existent relative truth. Then we need to analyze these relative realities. And in these relative realities, and what is the really the important? And it's we can to say, so, okay, I have mind. This is a relative mind. Reality, who am I? Where am I? Where am I come from? I don't know it, but anyway, nonetheless, I have mind. And also is I have body, and I'm calling that this is the human existence. This is called the human body, but reality is, I don't know, but this is my body, this is my verb, this is my environmental, this is my continent, this is my life. I can see, I can to hear, I can to touch. And then, in this relative perspective, what is the really important things? And this is the very much necessary to think. And when I see, I have kind of the different seeing. I see the pleasant form, unpleasant form. I can to hear something, my mind is say that is the pleasant sound, unpleasant sound. Mind can test relative kind of the things. Also is pleasant, unpleasant. And also in the mind there is two kind of aspect, pleasant, unpleasant. And also when we receive unpleasant, it's unhappy, uncomfortable, not really don't want. When we receive pleasant, we are very happy, we want more again and again. And then coding that, principally coding that, main coding that, or the example of that, then we are searching to which is we need it for ours, for our body, speech, mind. And also at the moment, our body, speech, mind are very much contaminated and very much kind of the samsaric, it's like kind of fragile body, speech, mind. And this has, according to the body, there is a different sickness, verb also same, and the mind is like this. To really to make the, how do you say, solid, to make more stable, and like this. And also it's like environmental, and to be really family, and it's the surround, everything is to something to make, how do you say, it's for comfortable for our body, according to our body, speech, mind. And it's a is a possible, there is in the relatively, there is positive and the negative. And what we need for our body, speech, mind, something is coming to the body, speech, mind, and it's making wonderful things. Like we can to say, we wearing soft cloth, to sit some is a comfortable house, and has cushion bed, and any wonderful for my body is a relax, and also like this. Verbally same like this, mentally also like this. And then it's in order to create more happiness, and then is what we need to do. And also in the Buddha Dharma, in the Dharmas talking about the samsara, nirvana, happy and the sorrow. And reality is the samsara and nirvana, it is not truly existence externally. Something is like to permanently someone's created forever. There's a samsara, nirvana. It is not really, it's a truth. In the Dharma says, in the Buddha himself, he's saying, samsara, nirvana is just thoughts, just idea, just like the projected by our minds. And samsara and nirvana, it's a reality, is existence into our minds. What does it mean? For example, mind is unhappy, uncomfortable, a little pain, sorrow. That is the samsara, nothing else. If mind is happy, oh, today I received very nice cappuccino, mind is happy. Oh, some family is taking care of me, I'm happy. Wow, someone smiled. Oh, today I'm happy. A little bit kind of inside delightful, cheerful. It's like kind of coming into our mind. That is the part of the nirvana that we need to extend it, to make it bigger. And samsara nirvana alternately into our minds. And otherwise is outsidely, we really to analyze whatever we perceived something. They are not belonging to ours. They are really, it's difficult to follow, to catch, to holding. For example, I would to say, I see this mandala. It is a wonderful. It's making me so happy. Really, if really too close, this is not my mind. This is not belong the mind. And the reality, I cannot eat it. It cannot to be into my mind. If this just to look this form and to say, I'm very happy, but reality, I don't know what it is. You call the mandala, but maybe it is not mandala. Maybe something else. But it looks like colorful, it's like design, nice, nice. But this is very much transitory. This is very much changeable. This is not reality. It's not beyond the mind. If I'm saying, oh, this is my mandala, yeah, okay, holding, maybe 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 hour, what it is. And then after, it's like maybe more pain if I'm holding all the carryings. It's not like this. All the appearances is like this. When we see something, yeah, nice. But one is like you open the eyes, there is the, but close, again you open, disappeared. This is like kind of uncertainty, our appearances. And also it's like exactly the sound, smell, taste, everything. And in this perspective, samsara and nirvana is a reality into our minds. Now it is the time to taking care of our mind, and also it is the time to cherish our mind, look after our minds, to develop our own minds. That is the most important. And like this. And then it's like, it takes itself, it goes like this. Maybe first there is the chapter, there's kind of the homage, kind of prayer. It says, the seeing this threefold word as a fleeting illusions. You have left this life concern behind like spittle in the dust. Accepting all hardship, you have followed in the footsteps of the master of the old. Peerless teacher, at your feet I bow. And here is like kind of reminded your own like spiritual teacher who is shown to you the path, who is you show to the nature of the reality to you. And this is like kind of your own individual perspective. It is the peerless. Each individual, your perspective, it is like kindness. Your each individual perspective, it is like kind of the Buddha. And therefore, this the peerless teachers to see this threefold of the word. Threefold of the word. And it is the desire realms, and the form realms, and the formless realms. And in the universal, you can to divide it like a kind of the owl, and a little higher, a little higher. This kind of like the word, it is like a kind of realized the fleeting illusions. And everything is like a transitory. And everything is like a kind of, how to say, it is a momentary nature. It's even when we look at this threefold word, there's nothing something permanent. There's nothing kind of the unchangeable things. Everything is living in the momentary nature, transitory nature. So. And therefore, it is like fleeting illusions in each moment. There's like disappeared, coming like kind of the city of the Godava, or the city of the Semil eaters, like this. And also you have left these lives and the concerning the behind like the spilt in the dust. And when you realize that this threefold word, there's everything is transitory, everything is impermanent, wonderful sound and tendency. And that time it is really, how to say, good practitioners. They like kind of the diminish of the huge how do we say, it's like a disattachment, clinging, and like kind of the attached to in this world, to say this is my word, this is my belonging, this is my like a body, this is my like something. You all the time is like holding things, are the kind of released into your minds. And you are like kind of acting, it is a normal way. You taking care of your environmental, inner being, whoever to be with you in your life, taking care very well, but inner your mind is changed. And like a kind of to understand realization of the threefold word as the fleeting illusions. And which kind of do you have attachment? Which kind of you are holding? Which kind of you have the clingings? And whatever exists in these three words, threefold words, it is like kind of the spilled in the dust, is it? For your like realizations perspective, there's nothing kind of to need to holding something, and it's like a kind of released in your mind about the clingings, disattachments. And that is like, how do you say, it's like in this life there's nothing kind of the holding, absolutely. And also accepting all the hardships. You have to follow in the footstep of the master of the old. And also this is like each individual peerless own teachers. Also this teacher has also the teachers. They follow their own individual, the teacher's footsteps. And also they accept to practice Dharma hardship. And also they practice very hardly about the Dharma. And also they reached their own teachers, like the level of the enlightenment. And they're like kind of same as they become their own masters, their own teacher, their own spiritual. Like, for example, some Buddha's student, Buddha's disciples. And when they follow the Buddha and the Buddha's footstep, and then it's like they also become the same as the Buddha himself. And of course, it's like also disciples, like same as doing the hardship as the Buddha. Buddha is like during the 6 years he meditated and he reached the enlightenment. Also followers also doing like this, then finally also students and to reach the same as his level. And therefore, and the first time is to saying, to pray, and to say is like the threefold word, it is like this fleeting illusion. And in order to realize it, these realities, and to pray kind of, to ask to your own individual masters, say, could you please to bless to me, or teach me, or to guide to me, in order to show that this reality of the threefold words, situation, or the realities. And therefore, it says, peerless, this teacher, for example, this author of the Patrul, his own peerless teacher is Jigme Ranyak, and he's like a kind of prayer. And also there is many kind of reasons when we are doing something before a little bit to prayer. For example, Buddhist perspective, whatever you do something, undertake something, you just to kind of pray or to bow, to like kind of say some supplication, and to say prayer, or I'm going to do something, this and that. Maybe this is my action, this is my activities it's become the benefit for sentient beings, it will become the virtue, it will become the benefit for myself, to others, and I'm going to do this and that. If you like kind of remember to those compassion, wisdom, and the sentient beings, whoever, and it's a very much benefit. It can to give you good condition, and like kind of the taking away the obstacle, and to it's like to give you condition in order to successful your activities. Therefore, and first, when you start at any kind of your activities, Dharma or the worldlies, and before you pray to your own teacher or Buddha, Bodhisattvas, and such a benefit, and it is that is not kind of the religious. This is not kind of the, how do you say, it's, systems. It is like kind of the realities, and also it's like in the relatively, I would to say, is things, whatever things. It has kind of the interactions or the like energy, you can to say. Water has energy, earth has energy, fire has energy, any kind of element has energies. And when we coming close, when we receive these energies, it's a kind of, they receive the positive energy and negative energies. For example, we can to say, when you put some seed into the earth, and then it's earth, other fertilizers give energy to this seed, and then the seed is the grow ups, and the grow up is not energy, but grow up is seed, but seed received some energy, some conditions, and then they grow up. Like this, sometimes also we can to connect to the humans, body, speech, mind, connect to the any other energies. Like, for example, when you say it's like where, which place, which country, which areas, element, maybe some areas too strong energy of the water, maybe not very good, too strong fire, the energies, too strong earth, too strong like kind of wind. But it's like all the element is maybe equal and more like calm, more like good place. When we be there, may be very good for health, very good for our body, speech, mind, because these energies give to condition to ours. Exactly like this, also to contact the humans, maybe someone's very much compassionate, to coming close, we receive energy of the compassion energy, and we receive a lot of kind of the benefit. Maybe this compassionate, no need to pray or to sending something like ideally, or now I'm sending my compassion energy, or now I don't want to send. If you have this kind of conceptual, maybe your compassion energy is very low, nothing others are received. But the compassion is impartial, your compassion is sincere, your compassion is really strong, automatically to receive the other sentient beings, your compassion energies. And also it's the same as the negative influence. If, for example, if someone is very much evil, criminals, and this kind of you coming close, sometimes you can receive sickness, sometimes you have pain, and sometimes really it's a serious, direct this kind of many happened. And it's like this, therefore, compassion, wisdom, persons to connect and very much receive energy. I want to say energy, this is a modern word, and you don't need to say the blessing or something, but it's energy, this is obvious. And therefore, and we can to pray it first time to it's a compassion sentient beings. Compassion beings is very important. Then is the impermanent of the life, or the impermanent, our subject matter is the impermanence. Impermanent is transitory, or it's like here it said the fleeting illusions. Like one is instantaneously, everything is changed. And everything is in the like kind of the nanosecond is changing everything. There's nothing kind of the permanent, nothing kind of, how do you say, stability things or solid. And that is we need to think about. So that the way to the listen to the teaching as in the described in the chapter 1, the first, how to listen to the Dharma. There is like a kind of the correct the conduct, correct attitude, and how to listen to the Dharma. These things already you memorize. I'm so happy, and thanks today someone's to pass exam, and it's fantastic. And also this question and answer. This year Lopan Shamba he did so wonderful. It is maybe it is a little bit more information. It's really precise. And I will to, and the Wisdom Treasure or the organizations next time we can to make small booklets, and then we will provide, we give it to you. And in the future you can to put in your pocket. It's fantastic. And then in Campbell's also making others like our text, making question and answers. It's wonderful. And also some students today is like really all the discussion answers memorized. I'm very happy. And also it's like why you need to study this and how to listen to the teachings. And everything is, there is something, it is need to correctly. And even, for example, when we make the coffee and the teas, and there is like procedures. And you cannot to do what you want. And say it's like, oh, I want to make a coffee, but I don't want to follow the rule how to make the coffee. Whatever I want to do. Okay, you can pick a chili, you can pick a salt, you can pick up any different, put in the coffee machine. I'm making, I think finally your result coffee is not delicious, 100%. There is also rules, which kind of machine you need, which kind of coffee, which kind of temperature, which kind of, this is the procedures, whatever we do. And therefore, when we listen to the Dharma, there is corrections, which kind of attitude, which kind of conduct, and which kind of like kind of concerning, how we can to listen, and also listen teachings. There is a different kind of the perspective of the how to listen, mind teachings, symbolic teachings, explain, hearing teachings, all this sort of, and also it's like before in the teaching times, before the preparation, and how much is the benefit, in the teaching place to preparing decorations, and when you listen to the really correctly to the Dharma, and you are like same times practice the six transcendent. Even you listen to correctly, there is the accomplishment of the six transcendent. That is the wonderful. This kind of, if you know so very well, and then only you know for yourself is nothing enough. Maybe you carry this message to give the next generation of your children, your family, your friend. If someone's asked to you, how I can do this, I think like this, I think like this. If you give message correctly to like this, then it's wonderful. Sometimes we give wrong informations. I'm often to say it's like if we cannot practice properly Dharma, maybe even we not interest to practice Dharma. We don't want in the practice Dharma. We don't want it, but we don't need to give wrong information to the others. That is the very important. In this life, maybe we don't do nothing, whatever we want, all the time is follow the pleasure, doing stupid things. But we never harm to the others. We never send a wrong message to the others. Then it's good. Why not? Our own individual, what we want, we can to do it. But sometimes we give a very wrong information, and it's a lot of damage to the other sentient beings, and also we are hurting to a lot of others. Then his life is very much boring and useless and a little bit sad things is like. And okay, I'm born in the human existence, but what am I doing? It's all the time I'm like sending wrong message, and whoever receives this wrong message and they give doubt, they will make a lot of problems and to hurting like this. This kind of very important to give correct information. Therefore, how to listen to the Dharma is very, very important. This is already be described in the first chapter beginning. You memorize very well. Then the actual subject matter consists of the 7 meditations. And of course, sometimes these translators a lot of added, but it's necessary. And there's the 7 meditation. You can to say that also meditation. You can to say it's like to concerning, and this 7 aspect of is showing to us the really it is impermanence, and sometimes this impermanent disintegrates. We can to say that's one is like when we're talking about like this, it's a little bit unpleasant. It's like our mind is concerning I'm permanent, I'm forever, and like a kind of the preparing forever in this world or this life. But this is very much cheating to our own self. Every day, when we're born and just that moment, and then it's like, it is like each day, each month, each years is more and close, or the near by near to the death. This is the obvious. It is like too close to the impermanent. And also, it's impermanent. When we really to analyze this impermanent, it is like every moment can to, of course, it can to, demonstrate or the attack to us. It is obvious and uncertainty of the impermanence. For example, some other world, other continent, maybe they have like kind of the limited to say 100 years you have life. They never sick, never die until the 100. When their time is coming, then they die. But our life is uncertainty. Someone's born this morning and afternoon die. Someone's yesterday born, today, maybe month, maybe year. Of course, someone's to live over the 100 years. But it's like our impermanence is very difficult to see, to realize it. But of course, we are living in the impermanence. For example, in the subtly philosophical or scientific or analysis, birth or death is inseparable. Birth and death is like a kind of how we can to divide it. And we don't understand this one is. And then it's like once like kind of big changing process. Okay, then is we are suffering. We have problems with them. For example, now it's each moment is like we are losing what we have on the past appearances. Each moment is coming new. For example, yesterday when we went in the bed, one is like one moment sleep, and all yesterday what we perceive, what we talk, what we done, everything this world is gone and already finished. When we are asleep, we count of the dead. And then we go into the dream world, and then we are working on the dream, and it stay there. Then this word is like the word of the dream. In the morning, one moment, when we wake up, dream is also impermanent, it's gone. And when the morning wake up, okay, it's a new word. Never have had like before. New morning, new coffee machine, new croissant, everything is, there is. When we start our life. And also in the morning, one moment, there is like the time is and then it's like start, and the sun is going to move very much fast. Oh, in the evening, okay, I'm going to sleep. Like this is like a little middle way, the birth and the death. Very short way, each picosecond. First we born, second is die, born, die, die, born. It's like this. But we do not understand that, and then it's like first we forget this short and like a changing process, how it is life is changing, we forget it. But when is my death, when is my like impermanent arrive, that moment, what can I do and says little bit kind of worried. And of course, someone never think about that, never ever think about, all the time carrying, I'm permanent, I'm solid, I never die. And certainly some doctors, some is like a sickness, some condition changed. Sorry, you are going to now die, you are not going to disappear. Then certainly run, what can I do? Ask to the doctors, ask someone, and believe or not believe. Then it's a hurry up, it's a little too late. And like that moment, it's such shaking mind and turbulent mind, and like collapsed universe, your individual, of course, is terrifying. And that moment is, who can to share that? Who can to take care? Who can to come into there to something to be companion? It's very, very difficult. That moment we need our mind energy. That moment we need our mind has education and how to drive through this kind of the situations. Therefore, it's a little bit too concerning the how about the impermanent. And then first one is the impermanent of the outer universe in which the being lives. Of course, when we look at our environment, like a universal, it's quite very huge, extremely huge in the solar systems. It's like, for example, our Earth, this blue Earth, how is the heaviest? There is a trillions is the kgs. It's impossible to measure, fathom. But this like kind of huge things, also it is the impermanent. And this is like an outer environment, the impermanent, second impermanent, the beings living in it. How many beings is it like a kind of past? Also is need to concern him. And also inside the third one's impermanent of the holy beings. Someone's coming the next explanation. Someone's controlled all the elements, but they also demonstrated to impermanent. They already gone. The impermanent of those in the position of the powers in this world, such powerful beings, but they also already gone. They cannot to control the impermanent. And also other example of the impermanence, every day, like a kind of the 4 seasons, so on. There's many different example of the impermanent showing to us. And also it's like the 7th intense awareness of the impermanent. If we like really to concern in the impermanent, how it is the benefit and which kind of like receive benefit through the meditation of the impermanent, like this. And then the first chapter is the impermanent of the outer universe in which being lives. And when we are talking like these things, it is like a little bit very much relative realities. And the relatively, sometimes we have doubt, kind of, what it is, how it is happened, why it is like this. Is this just in the relatively? Yes, it's like this. Even we can to look at this flowers, very much colorful. It is the which kind of wood, how they did, why it is coming to like this. But of course, it's like someone, there's actions coming, become like this. And in this is like kind of very much mysterious, something, but in the relatively, like a cause and condition is coming to this kind of appeared. And it is very difficult to say that is the definitive, in the relatively. And but it's a kind of to give education to it example like this. Our world in this outer environment fashioned by the collective good karma of the beings. And it's like the same as what now we are seeing in this world. For example, here now. And this is like big or small, it doesn't matter. At the moment, we can to see the universal, this environmental of this Dharma City. It is the fashioned by the our own this Sangha or these areas or this whoever to see this collective karmas. We beings, we see that in the environmental of the Dharma City, it's like this. and how it is like this kind of perceived. There's one house like this, places like this, and this one is how we can to perceive. I'm perceiving, you also perceiving, everybody is perceiving, and this is a place. Because this is like kind of collective good karma, collective of our individual karma. That is even the scientific perspective. Habitual forming imprintings. We are talking a lot. And we have a pattern, idea, and inner like kind of the tendencies. Particularly sciences, tendencies means, for example, today I can to study A, B, C, D. I never ever saw before. Now it's like kind of, I saw the ABC calligraphic, and I'm like punching into our mind, my mind. Next time I can to see something, this is A, this is B, because I have tendencies, because I have something into my mind. Like this, in our mind, there's some tendencies, these tendencies projecting in order to perceive, and this kind of. Therefore, in the outer environmental, huge, this solar system, this is our universe. It is fashioned by all the like kind of the sentient beings, collective good karma. Collective karma means collective tendencies, habitual patterns, and this then is commonly, collectively, we can to perceive, and this kind of. For example, in maybe some other sentient beings, other worlds, some beings, maybe they can passing by or coming to in this world. Maybe they can't see this world. And because they haven't got in the patterns in their minds, they cannot to see it. But anyway, this fashioned by the collective good karma means it's like in whoever living in this world, and like we have similarity of the fashion, how to say, is the tendencies, patterns, and then we can to see that this kind of solar systems, which is a firm and a solid structure, encompassing the 4 continents, and this is like kind of of course, and the different cosmologies perspective. In the scientifically, it's difficult to see the mountain mirror, huge like kind of mountain. But it's like in the Buddhist perspective, there is in the relative cosmology, Abhidhammas, a little bit different. It's talking about the mountains, it's talking about the continent, it's talking about the huge like kind of ocean difference. And it's called the mountain mirror, means it's like it's a huge like a mountain mirror. Mirror is like it's a kind of the there is a looks like and different you can to perspective. Some mountain mirror is like maybe flower. Some mountain mirror looks like kind of the eggshells. Some mountain mirror really looks like mountain, looks like this cosmology. We build this one here. And these mandalas, like 4 steps, and the outside of the water, 4 steps the inside in the oceans. We can to say like this, but it's like a kind of in the space, this kind of cosmology. This mountain mirror is like different types. It's an uncertainty. It's difficult to say. It's like this, but there is kind of mountain mirror you can to say. And this mountain mirror is like quite very like kind of huge, and there are like kind of included heavenly or the helly, you can to say. Everything is there like kind of. Last for whole the karmas is to state is like the beginning, how it is the start. For example, in the scientific perspective, is a big bang. And after they collect to this dust, and then it's like the piles of the dust. Then slowly is the universe is coming, water, plant, and then it's like mammoth, it's like mammals is coming out from the ocean. Beginning it looks like crocodile, and then become the chimpanzee, then become monkey, then human being. It's 44 billions years after like this. But anyway, it's like a cosmology star. Like it's like the last for whole kalpas. Kalpas means it's eons. They are started to like this. It's this kind of. It is like the nonetheless impermanent. This kind of huge, this kind of big, this kind of unimagined. Also, reality is impermanent. Finally, it's disappeared to become the atom or the disappeared into the space. And in the space is a very, 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 it's space when we think maybe our head is explosion. Space hasn't got the directions. Space hasn't got up, down. Space is a space. In this space, there's some universe is very small. For our thing is huge, but for the space, it's just nothing. And it's inconceivable. In the space, this kind of to happen like this. But this, for our perspective, this universe is a very huge one. It is impermanent, will not escape the final destruction by the 7th stage of the fire and 1 of the waters. And it's like kind of in the Buddha's teaching, the Dharma, the slowly, it is the hotter and hotter. And it's like kind of the finally, there the 7th sun is shine on the sky. And then it's to burn up all our universal. And then finally there's water. And last one is the airs to destroy everything. And now is when we analyze, it is the ooze, like kind of the zoom, or like protect in our world. In the scientific perspective, we have our universe has kind of the air or something protected. And the sun is the outside. As some science says, like this protection has a hole. And maybe it's a hot temperatures, inner temperature, the warm is a climate, and outside is coming to, maybe hole is coming, then the sunlight is stronger and stronger. Maybe one day it's the 7 holes in these protections, then to burn our universe. Maybe this is like, maybe not necessarily to shine, there's a 7 sun, but maybe this is symbolic, it is the 7 holes, then it's burn everything inside. And like this is, maybe we can stop 5 minutes.